There's an old idiom in Hollywood about how sending a franchise into space is where they go to die. And the equivalent to this would be Disney Plus, where all good ideas go to die. Anything that is remotely interesting gets tossed into the trash compactor that is modern-day Disney, and turning it into something that was once beloved into an unrecognizable mess. They've done this with Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and one by one, they've done it to Marvel characters. Their newest victim is Daredevil, in the ongoing streak of terrible TV shows called Daredevil Born Again. The show kicks off by killing Foggy, a fan-favorite character for the first 3 seasons, without him having any meaningful dialogue or interactions with anybody, and is followed up with a fight between Daredevil and Bullseye. Straight away, something feels off about this fight, as there appeared to be a very poor use of CGI, and somehow looked worse than any of the action sequences from the Netflix series, despite having an increased budget. Not only this, but Bullseye is able to hit Daredevil, who henceforth I'll be referring to as Double D, several times in the chest with throwing knives, which is pretty inconsistent from the last time these two fought, where Bullseye rarely landed a hit on him, and the knives didn't even slow him down. I mean, remember how over the course of a fight, Double D would slowly and increasingly be worn down to a point where he struggled to throw another punch, and you yourself could almost feel the fatigue? Well, that's no longer the case in this series. After Foggy's death, Karen and Matt experience a falling out due to being stricken with so much grief, which causes Karen to leave the show until the very last episode, so we never get to see these three actually accomplish anything of value. Additionally, due to Matt's grief, he decides he's done being Double D, and so we really don't get much to see him wearing the costume. Instead, the show decides to tread on old ground by having Matt tackle an internal struggle and rediscover his purpose in life, and tries to figure out if Double D is necessary. Much like of what already happened in the Netflix series after experiencing some hearing loss. Granted, the reasoning is different, but did anybody really want to see Matt wrestle with his identity to become Daredevil all over again? I know I didn't. But let's move on to Fisk's female counterpart, Vanessa, who routinely reminds us that she's better at running a criminal empire than Fisk ever was.
When you were gone, I made this business bulletproof.
And for some reason, everyone respects her more. Why is this the case, you may ask? Well, you see, simply because. Lastly, getting back to Bullseye, who orchestrates a prison break in the dumbest way possible. First, he reaches out to Matt Murdock in the hope that he will actually come see him in prison, claiming he has vital information. And when Matt agrees, Bullseye riles him up so much about Foggy's death that Matt slams his head on the table enough to crack a tooth. Let's ignore the fact that security cameras would have been in place in that room and been able to see everything that happened, landing Matt in serious trouble. Afterwards, Bullseye is then taken to the infirmary, at which point he breaks off the cracked tooth in his mouth and spits it so hard like a bullet. Bullseye must have some incredible blowing abilities.
Do you suck dicks?
Sir, no, sir!
Bullshit, I'll bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
So, basically, this whole plan hinged on Matt showing up and getting so angry that he would crack one of his teeth, without anyone noticing. After escaping, he makes an immediate attempt to assassinate Mayor Fisk. The main problem here is the way Bullseye failed to accomplish this. For example, Matt stops the first bullet by diving in front of Fisk. Fine, but why didn't he fire off more rounds?
No!
Or try to go for a headshot. This is supposed to be the guy who never misses, and yet can't pull off what should have been a simple assassination attempt for him at a relatively short distance. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, look, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video. Hell, I got a lot of it for criticizing She-Hulk. She-Hulk, of all things. Disney keeps making insufferable female characters and calling it female empowerment. Like the therapist in this show who gave this unbearable line.
News tried to kill you, Daredevil saved you.
I saved me. They were both out there for themselves.
And then the writers will go on to call people misogynists for calling them out on their bullshit, when it's quite the opposite. Anyway, I can only imagine what Marvel fans are going to say here, but I just call things how I see them. And while I did get pretty excited every time I saw John Bernthal make an appearance, and I'm not gonna lie, I did love the fight scene with Double D and the Punisher fighting side by side. However, my excitement was immediately thrown off a building, because after that scene, the Punisher walks directly in the center of a building, in plain sight, against a bunch of armed men, and just starts killing them, only for him to get captured. The Punisher is a guy who was depicted as a special force operator. Like, what the fuck did he think was gonna happen? He's lucky they didn't shoot him in the head and get on with their day. I could go on, but the story is so full of holes and unlikable characters that the video would just be too long for my taste. While this show does have one of the original writers from the Netflix series to be the showrunner here, although this is still traditional, modern Disney dog water slop, through and through, and is a clear indicator that they have no real interest in providing quality entertainment. Their end goal appears to be to bombard the general public with so much trash that they won't know what's good anymore. It's like sticking someone on an island with no food other than a can of worms to eat every day. The thing is, after a while of eating nothing but worms day in and day out, the person stuck on the island would eventually learn to like it. Which I feel like is what's happened to hardcore Marvel fans who defend everything Disney does, no matter how bad it gets. Anyway, that's all I've got for this review. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and follow me on my other social media platforms. I'll leave a link in the description below, and hope everyone has a good day. Take care.